7 o'clock. We're going to do a little something different, and then we'll have it as our regular time. We're going to do the pledge of the flag at the beginning of each meeting. So at that time, let's all please stand. Gentlemen, remove your hats if you have any. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was Mr. Apple's idea, and I think that's a good idea, Mr. Apple. Okay. We had an executive session this afternoon, and nothing was made decision on, so everything is status quo on that. Call the meeting to order. At this time, we'll approve the minutes of the February 20th board meeting. Everybody should have had them in your agenda.
I'd like to make a motion. We approve the minutes from the meeting of February 20th.
I'll second.
Okay, Sharon made the motion to approve them. We have a second by Ryan. Any other further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion's carried. Claims for the month of March.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, made by Ryan. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Sharon. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion's carried. Okay. Do we have anything before we get into the principal's report? Do you have anything to add on the agenda?
Yeah, I do. A quick correction. As I sent it to Ms. Stilger to put on the agenda, in my head, we are looking at our corporation website. We're getting a few proposals on that. And in my head, we are working towards the approval of a new website. And so when I sent that to her and then I read it, it made sense to me. And then a few days later, when I read it again, it reads incorrectly on what is going on. We are not approving or asking for approval for a new website today that would have somebody's name next to it. What it is part of the process. When it comes time for that, Mr. Alan Howie will present to the board a proposal that he's got, and they've got a copy of that that you sent to us as well. But his company, they are bidding on that as well, and so he will give a proposal. So that's what it should have said. It's part of that process of the approval process. And in my head, when I wrote it, it made sense. And I sent it to Becky and I read it again. And then, as you know, when you take a few days and then you're going through, that's not what it's part of the process, but that's not what I'm asking for today. It's part of that. So when that time comes, it will be Mr. Howie who will brief the board and give a proposal.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, if not, we'll start with the principal's report, and Jeff, do you mind starting us out there? All decked out with your sunglasses. Oh, you took them off.
Yeah, I had to put my hat back on.
Okay.
Is this thing projecting or just okay? Well, Dr. Apple, were you going to talk about the fire event from March 1st? Because I just wanted to dole out some compliments on that. And
I've got it on here. It is number 2 on mine.
Okay.
But you go right ahead, because you guys, the staff, the students, did such a phenomenal job. We can hit on 2 or 3 times and still not do them justice.
Oh, and Miss Rothrock was actually here that day to witness whatever that was. And it was amazing. For those of you who don't know, we were actually meeting in the elementary office that morning, and we had a lot going on that day. And Miss Thompson gets credit for saving the school, by the way, and everyone in it. But she comes in and we're having a meeting. She goes, "Oh my gosh, Officer Davis and Mrs. Steele and myself." And she goes, "Hey, there's smoke coming from So we went out, and sure enough, there was smoke coming from in the elementary kitchen from a fan up above. The fan had gotten too hot, I think, is what that. You know what? I'm not even going to speculate. Doesn't matter. Should we pull the fire alarm? Should we pull the fire alarm? Yes, go pull the fire alarm. Well, during that time, and again, this is full disclosure, it was wild in the cafeteria because we had the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. That's about 175 kids up here who were cheering as loud as they could because the state winning girls basketball team was circling, doing the walk of champions. At the same time, we had every other, I can't speak for the high school side, but I know they were in the hallways, but we had the elementary students in the hallway awaiting the state champion girls basketball team. And of course, you're out of your room for 5 minutes. You're not expecting to need your emergency things. So anyway, then the fire alarm goes off. So it was absolute. I mean, the only way in here I know that you could have heard or actually known the fire alarm was going off was because of the blinking lights. And the kids noticed, and I did go back and watch the video, and you see them, and they're kind of looking at the lights, and Officer Davis and people were moving, and then they were moving, and cafeteria staff got kids out this way. The kids were going. I mean, the kids were going everywhere, and the reason it sounds like chaos, and it really was, but it got controlled so quickly. And again, Ms. Rothrock, you were there. The teachers on both sides of the building just did exactly what they do, and they got the kids wrangled up and got to them wherever they were. We were able to go out within a matter of minutes and check, everybody was good. We were able to radio. Are there students who we don't know where they are? Of course there were. We were able to locate them. We had upset children not knowing where siblings were. We were able to find them, communicate, and get that under control. I don't even remember how long we were outside, but then we get back inside pretty quickly and come into the gym. The fire alarms are still going off, but we've gotten the okay. And immediately I know that the high school, the elementary, we're going through making sure we've got everybody and checking. Mr. Hancock was, hey, do we need to get something out to the public? Yes, absolutely. To the teachers. He hammered out a message to send out to the community, and just cannot, just honestly can't thank the job, because it was chaotic. But the Harrison Township Fire Department and Lanesville Fire Department showed up along with somebody who we weren't expecting. We weren't expecting anybody on that day, but the Emergency Management Agency had a gentleman come out who's kind of seeing, what do you need in these times of crisis? And he said, it looks like you guys have got it under control. Are all your kids accounted for? Yes. Do you have a message out to the community? Yes. Do we have a plan for getting back in the classrooms? Yes. And so again, not planned, everything that was going on, I just can't. And the students, and giving the students credit too, because they were quiet, they listened, they didn't know what was going on. That can be very frightening. And so just really proud of everybody for the job that was done. And I do think it deserves to be mentioned 3 or 4 or 5 times. I mean, it was 2 weeks ago. It feels like it was 6 months ago. But just mad props to everybody. We just finished up in elementary school on Friday, our I Read 3 assessments. The 2nd graders took it the Tuesday and Wednesday the first week, and the 3rd graders took it Tuesday and Wednesday this last week. I think the results are embargoed as far as being able to release information. I think I'm safe to tell you that the results are very positive, though, and I can't give specifics. Families have been notified and all that, but I cannot release specific information at this time until the state says we can. On this past Thursday, I've got the wrong date on that. It was March the 14th, I guess. We had our STEAM fair. We had 59 projects. The 2nd grade teachers started this up last year. It was so neat. I got to find out what flour is the best for baking cookies. And that makes a bigger difference than you think. But just some examples, kids were testing flame retardant materials, how light bulbs use energy, how much energy. One student brought in a rebuilt engine that was battery powered, and you could actually see the pistons moving up and down, and the kids just had a great opportunity to shine. And man, when you showed up that day, if a kid knew you, they were running up to you going, hey, come see this, come see this. And so they were proud to show it off. So to have that opportunity was nice for them. A couple more things about that. Mr. Kramer had the robotics display in the hallway. I don't know if he got kicked into the hallway. I don't know if he got booted out of the gym or if he chose to be out there, but he had a great display set up out there. I didn't know Mr. Kramer, so but the kids had, I mean, being able to go out and check out the competition board, seeing what Mr. Kramer's doing with the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders there, it was just neat to showcase that for the families, and the kids got to drive around robots. Duke Energy brought a STEM kit. They had dropped off giant box. The 2nd grade teachers again took that. They were allowed, they provided hands-on challenges for the kids to do. So they had a catapult building, tree ring counting, a coding bracelet making, marshmallow tower building stations, and everything was included in that kit. And that was just Duke Energy saying, hey, do you want this? Yes, we do. And then the teachers finding a place for it. Already, I know the 2nd grade teachers are having conversations about what they can do to make it better for next year. And so congratulations and thank you to all the STEAM Fair participants. And again, big thank you to Miss Guestwan, Miss Tarman, Miss Chaprinskis, and Mr. Kramer for what they did during that as well. We had kindergarten roundup on March 14th. We had 30, Miss Hood, I had 33 students. It was somewhere between 30 and 34 students that we had come in that day. Hey, and we're hoping for 30 more for enrollment before next year gets kicked off. But everything was great. I want to say thank you to Matthew Crawford. I mean, he was in here the weekend before, and he was throwing plaster on walls, patching up holes where the kids go out to car line at the end of the day. They don't tear things up intentionally, but the metal hanging off their backpack, it just tears stuff up. But Mr. Crawford spent, like I said, I know all Sunday, and they're patching holes and painting and stuff, making it look nice. And just thank you to Miss Shiger, Miss Hood, Miss Drexler, Miss Tyree, Miss Thompson, and Miss Rachel for the time that they put in for that kindergarten roundup. Student Council, Miss Dye and Miss Tarman have been working hard for that. They've gotten a few sponsors for the Gaga Pit and playground revitalization. And Miss Dye, I did miss those emails, but I did sit down with Becky, and I think we're on the way to getting that Gaga Pit ordered. All right. So there you go. And we can have definitely a list of the sponsors who helped out with that for a school board meeting in the future. Right now, we've got intercession / it's enrichment going on right now. Kate, if I miss anybody, Miss Acton, please let me know. But Ms. Miller, I know is doing something with Marie, with as oceanographers. If you go in the hallway down here, the kids were measuring out how long certain sea animals were. So they did everything from a bottlenose dolphin to a blue whale. And so I've got tape marked down. And it was fun, and the kids were excited to show that off too. Ms. Acton, I walked in and you were doing camo people the other day. Yesterday they had little paper figures that they would put on a wall, and then they would try to make them blend in with the background. And so they were trying to get me. I was in there for 30 minutes trying to find all the kids, little people they were making. And then Miss Boone is working on Egyptian math. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to make it to Miss Boone's classroom, but I'm looking forward to before it ends. I know there were balloons with hieroglyphics on them today. I know the kids are excited and having fun. And there was a long car line to pick kids up at 11 o'clock today. We want to give a quick shout out to the Harrison County Health Department. They were here on the 13th. Everybody except the 3rd graders, because we were testing, they came in and went to every classroom to offer some suggestions for dental hygiene. If you remember, they give you the toothbrush, and I don't know if they even use those little pink tablets they used to make us eat. I don't know. But they were in and appreciative of that. And they're coming back on April the 3rd, the Wednesday we get back. We're going to have a assembly in the gymnasium where the health department is going to talk to kids about how to safely stare at the sun. And they're going to give them glasses, and they're going to give them little boxes so some of the younger kids are going to get the boxes, the older kids are going to get the glasses. They're going to talk to them about eclipse safety and how to make sure to not look at the sun too long. But we're excited. We weren't expecting that. We know the last time this happened 7 years ago, those glasses get expensive quick as they're selling out. And so the fact that they're coming and giving them to all of our kids, or making some experience for all of the kids at Lanesville Elementary, we're thankful for that. April the 8th, we've got 115 dismissal for the Eclipse. And then Math Bowl, want to brag on them for a minute. The Math Bowl hosted an invitational on February 27th, and the Lanesville Eagles placed first overall, and they had 2 divisions who earned perfect scores. If you ever sat in a Math Bowl competition or a Science Bowl competition, that's a big deal. If you can score perfect in 1, you're doing well. If you're scoring perfect in 2, that's amazing. So big congratulations to the kids. And Mrs. Toby and Mrs. McLean are the people who are sponsoring that. And so thank you to them. And on April 9th, they have their official Math Bowl competition at West Washington. And then the last thing I have is we've got iLearn testing. We come back for 2 weeks. The teachers are going to be working hard to cram in any other standards that might be there or review anything that they feel needs reviewed. And then from the 15th to May the 10th, that is the testing window for iLearn. So yeah, that's what we have coming up, just a little bit. So sorry for taking up so much time tonight.
No, thank you. You have a lot going on, Jeff.
It's a lot. But
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, so everybody's going to get off on the 8th at 1:15 and go and look at is it Seymour or Scottsburg, or where's the ultimate place to be at?
Is that Evansville, Bloomington, I think.
Is that right?
Seymour,
Okay.
yeah, Indiana, about an hour north.
Okay. Dr. Velker.
All right. Well, first off, I think, we had a basketball game a few weeks ago. So I wrote something up for the kids, and we want to congratulate our girls basketball team on winning the state championship on February 24th. They represented Lanesville schools and the community superbly over that weekend. Want to congratulate our student body, our band, our cheerleaders on the way they handled themselves at the state finals. Several members of the IHSAA came up and talked to us, and were very impressed by the way everyone from our community backed the team in a positive manner that day. There was a sign in the Commons that said "Together we are more." That's a group of the basketball parents put up before for the sectional, and I think never was that more apparent than at the state finals that day. The team faced adversity, and everyone helped raise them up to succeed. And I'm very proud of our team, coaches, students, fans, players, our cheerleaders, and our band, like I said. So that was just the adversity they felt. They could have very easily just played it out, and instead they continued to fight and represent the school and the community very, very well that day. So I want to congratulate them. I have some things about our 8th grade basketball team winning county, but I'll save that because you're later on the agenda, as well as cheerleaders. Want to say congratulations we had sophomore Alex Morris, who won the Corden Rotary Youth Speech Contest, and he now moves on to the district competition. So congratulations to him. And then our FFA competed in the district leadership contest a few weeks ago, and some kids I'm going to mention are actually here. So when I mention you, if you'd stand up. So Amy Coons, all right, she was first place in freshman public speaking. So congratulations to Amy. All right, yeah, we can clap for her. All right. Okay. Margot Stewart was first place in ag sales. Alex Morris was third place in extraneous. Anyway, in public speaking. All right. Extemporaneous. All right. Public speaking. Aiden Whitehouse right there was third place in the FFA Creed. So congratulations to Aiden. All right. All right. Janine Sharp was third place in the food science demonstration. Emma Simcoe was first place in agriculture education. And she was third place in the plant science demonstration. So, and then Preston Little was second place in the plant and soil science demonstration. So there was, here, and they competed against 16 schools. So a lot of different schools represented. So we're very proud of our FFA and our total ag program here at Lanesville. And then, other notes that we have, we had several elementary and junior high Faculty and staff completed crisis prevention intervention training on March 2nd here at school. So that's one of those things you have to get accredited every 2 years. So we went through our accreditation for people that day. I want to give special thanks to Robin Morgan for organizing and proctoring the SAT during the first week of March. PJ Toby also helped by proctoring several sessions as well. We take mock AP exams in AP Stats and Calculus after spring break on April 3rd. And we already took those mock exams through the TIP program for Lit, Comp, and Environmental Science. And Bethany Miller has taken the lead on that. Our seniors did a resume and interview writing skills workshop for those who didn't go to Prosser, because they do one at Prosser. So they came in the afternoon of Monday, March 11th, and worked with some representatives from Work One, came in and went over those things with them. And then on Thursday, March 14th, we took 40 juniors and seniors to the Harrison County Career Fair. Kids represented themselves very well. And the Career Fair did a great job of, this organization needs summer help. This organization is looking for full-time help after high school, and kind of breaking that down, because we had some juniors. I know Abby went, and we had juniors and seniors go, so they were able to do that. We're going to have a blood drive on Tuesday, April 9th in the gym from around 9 to 1. It's open to the public. And just like before, Ellie Schneider's taking the lead on that. So you can contact her to participate, because she still says everybody knows how to get a hold of her. On April 9th in the evening, we're going to host a regional meeting for the Indiana Association of School Principals, District 12 here in the cafeteria. This allows, show off our school and talk about some things that are going on here at Lanesville. And then, kind of working on the agenda. Also, some things are happening in other schools coming up with testing, and a lot of new things that have gone through the legislature that affect our school counselors and schools that we have to do for kids. And then the academic banquet's coming up on Saturday, April 20th in the gym. So, and then I was also able to attend a 4-day budgeting workshops while I wasn't at the February meeting on the 21st, 22nd of February, March 12th and 13th. It was a great experience. So hopefully I can work with Dr. Apple, be a sounding board on that. And I appreciate the opportunity for that professional development. So it was going on. So that's all I have. We'll get to other groups here later in the agenda. So thank you very much.
Just a comment on anybody got any board have any questions for Dr. Apple or Dr. Felper? I'm sorry. Ryan, if anybody ever has the opportunity to judge at a district or state competition for the FFA, Ryan and I had the opportunity to judge up at Hope, Indiana for that. And it's interesting in it, Ryan. It's it's a refreshing to let you know, it's a confirmation, let you know we still got a lot of good youth.
Yep.
Highly recommend it.
Don't disagree.
Thank
We got good leadership in that program as well. All right.
Thank
you.
Okay, Dr. Apple.
Just kind of starting off on Tuesday, May the 7th. It's election day. This is the first time that our school is going to be utilized as the polling place. We will do live e-instruction that day. And so the kids will log on. The teachers will be here working, and they will log in. And I hate throwing this word out there, but it's similar to kind of what we did during those COVID times. But the state has limited us to 3 e-learning days. We have used all 3 e-learning days already. We used it at Heritage, and then the water main break, and then I can't off the top of my head, can't think of what the third one was. Snow day. Yeah. And so we've already utilized all 3. Next year, the calendar, we've adjusted. Election day next year, we are not in session. We're also not utilizing Heritage as an e-learning day, so we freed a few of those days up. And that should help a little bit. But know that is an electronic live instruction e-learning day that day. Kind of what Mr. Smitley hit on. I was in Paoli and in a meeting, and I just sat down with my lunch, and I get a phone call from our parent square, which was fantastic, and a text message, and alerted me that there was an issue going on here at school. So I left my meeting and I got here, and that's a long drive, and I went faster than I should. But in that 35 minutes that it took me to get from Paoli to here, all those things go through your mind, even though I know it said that everybody's safe and, they plan to be going back to class soon. When I got here, the first person that I talked to, as Mr. Smitley mentioned, was Mike Kurz, who's the director of the emergency management here in Harrison County. And the first thing that he told me was that, and Mike and I have worked on a few things together, but the first thing he said is, your staff and your students did a phenomenal job. And literally that was the first thing that he said. And then we kind of debriefed on a few things. And then he reiterated again, your staff and your students did a phenomenal job. And then when I spoke with Mr. Gayhart of the Lanesville Fire Department, first thing he said, Ryan, they did a phenomenal job. Everybody got out. Nobody panicked. They stood here. They were quiet until we got it figured out. Once we got everything cleared, at least for them to go back in the building, everybody went back, and it was calm and orderly, and just reiterated that we've got some wonderful people here. And so, Mr. Smitley touched on a lot of it, but I just wanted to, as somebody who was away and rushing back, and the first thing you get are two officials that tell you that students and staff were phenomenal. That's a blessing, to say the least. Mr. Smitley brought it up, and I've got it on here. Just a reminder, we're being released at 1:15 on the 8th. And then the last thing I've got is kind of a more lengthy one. Legislative session ended since we have met last. And there are a few things that I would kind of like to highlight for you guys. And then there are some policies that we're going to have to look at. And there are some in the way that the legislature works is they pass laws, but they pass the buck down the road, and they pass some mandates down to people. And so we know that there's some policies we're going to have to tweak or create or do something with, but we don't really know how to do some of them. But someone I would like to highlight, some legislation, release for religious instruction, requires principal to allow a student to attend religious instruction conducted by certain entities, followed by principal's receipt of written notice from students. There are some limitations on it. I think it's 120 minutes a week is a limitation, and there are limitations on what constitutes a religious entity. We've got a policy we're working on to address that, but that's one that I think will be good for some kids. Then you get a lot of various education matters. One that the DOE's got to work on, and they've been charged to look at, diploma requirements and designations moving forward and in the future. And so we will be waiting on some guidance from the state on that, on what that's going to look like over the next couple of years. Another one that has been watched and debated and it was Senate Bill 1. It's been signed by the governor. It is now law. Reading skills, and I won't read the whole thing to you because, as you can tell, it's rather lengthy. But we do have to go through and look at what Mr. Smitley was talking about, our iRead. Once the dust settles, we need to review retention and review remediation and some summer school. One thing that we already do that, as we talked last time, and we got praise from the Department of Education, is second graders are going to have to take the test. We already do it. We see the value in it. We saw it from the start. And I think some conversations that they had with, school corporations like ours that say, hey, we already do it, and it's nothing but a positive, I think kind of help spur that. So hopefully that can help some others. And but that's one that we're sorting through currently. And then going on, to go along with that, reading proficiency. That's one that it says requires the Department of Education. So it's putting the buck on the DOE to develop a method of identifying students in grades 4 through 8 who did not pass the iRead some other benchmarks, and that what that falls into is we're going to be charged with tracking the progress of those kids, seeing if they get up to that level, continue through at least the 8th grade. If they don't meet those benchmarks, whatever they end up being exactly, talks about determining through South score, so whatever those benchmarks are for the grade levels. But we will be charged with giving remediation potential all the way through the 8th grade. If that means that, the handful of kids that are a little bit behind, so in the 3rd grade, we get them caught up, then I think that's nothing but a good thing. Just got to hopefully get the funding to help make that happen. One thing that Dr. Velker and I have been talking about and kind of working on lately is artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. And on Friday, and that was what it was all about. We started a process, started a policy on that, but we kind of need to wait a minute. It was Senate Bill 150, and what it does, it creates an artificial intelligence task force, which sounds, I'm sure, a lot more ominous than it is. But they are charged to study and assess the use of artificial intelligence technology by state agencies, which school corporations fall into. We may adopt technology, resource policy, and cybersecurity policy subject to specified guidelines. Well, we don't kind of have those guidelines yet. So we started crafting that policy on what we think, but knowing that full well we may have to adjust it when some guidelines from the task force come down. And then absenteeism is kind of a big one, which is kind of funny because several of the laws passed work against absenteeism, either through work or through the religious law that we just talked about. And so finding that balance is going to be a difficult thing in some cases. And then finally, one thing, and luckily we don't have a whole lot of cell service around here, but there is a student use of wireless communication device law. It was Senate Bill 185 when it started. Now it's law. Requires each school corporation and charter school to adopt and implement a wireless communication device policy that governs student use of a wireless communication device, and then publish the policy on the school corporation's school website. And so that's something that we're going to work closely with teachers on this spring, because that one falls a lot into their realm in those classrooms. And so we're going to work with them on crafting a policy that we think is going to work real well for us here at Lanesville. Any questions?
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Apple. Okay. PTSO report. Do we have anybody here? They were meeting down there in the libraries. Heard, but I don't see anybody here.
They met last Tuesday.
Oh, I was
so-
wrong.
Was there at that meeting.
Group of them down there.
Do what?
So there was a group of,
I was alumni
alumni.
group, I believe. I don't know that for sure, but hey, Ms. Hood, I'm just going to give a couple of things from the PTSO. If I mess anything up, let me know, please. Okay, thank you. Just real quick, I attend the PTSO meetings. Ms. Hood and myself try to attend most of them. Just some things. The PTSO. It's nice. You sit in those meetings, you're always going to hear something really funny. And they just have wonderful ideas. Their goal this year was to have an event once a month. They're doing it. No doubt. And it's just a really great thing. I know this last meeting, they were giving money to Miss Toby for some calculators and the resource room to use. I know just recently they'd given money to Miss Armstrong for inflatables for field day, which PTSO also helps contribute just people being there. And so there's a big following right there. She's got an entire group to help her out. So we're thankful for the PTSO for that. Just real quick, they had Donut with a Grown Up on March the 9th. It's a free event they put on. Leave it to those ladies. They put on a free event. They make a little bit of money on the side. So not a whole lot by any means, but they went and they had Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, milk, OJ, and they brought the kids in, run around. I was here at the beginning, did not stick around through the whole thing. I got back and the place was spotless. You wouldn't even know anybody was here except Dr. Velker put the bleachers in for them. But I think they said it had about 350 people, which is down because last year they had 500 people. So, they want to get those numbers up. But yeah, I mean, that's just a simple thing on a Saturday. I say simple. There's nothing simple about putting that on. It seems simple, but just wonderful thing, bring community in to do that. Then they turned around, and on the 14th, we had Pie Day, and they brought in a bunch of pies to the elementary school. I don't know if they supplied them to the high school. I didn't make it up to the break room to check, but I know there's a bunch of pie in elementary school anyway. Upcoming, they've got the Spring Festival coming up on April the 12th. So that'll be an evening affair. I know they've got all the games lined up, and they're excited to do that. And I think they're still planning on having a silent auction then, with that information to come out a little bit later as well. And then I know coming up, they've got Teacher Appreciation Week, the week of May the 6th. So they're trying to plan events, lunches, things of that nature. The way to a teacher's heart is through their stomach, maybe. I don't know. I know there's a lot of lunches. I know I get a lot of requests for lunches and food and snacks in particular for faculty meetings. So PTSO is doing a great job of taking care of Lanesville schools. I know that. And we hope they continue on. So that's all.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, public comments related to the agenda items only.
We do have a couple of names here.
Oh, no, I accidentally signed up and I did not like to speak. I just thought we were.
You were used to signing in, coming in.
I just thought we were signing in.
What?
Please do not make me speak.
We will not force you to on spring break.
That's what you get for not reading directions.
We do have Miss Liz Beamer.
First of all, I wanted to just tell you, the Parks Department, Heritage Foundation, and Health Department. are sponsoring-
Pardon me. Should Miss Beamer be behind if you don't mind, Liz, could you get behind the podium so the public, they're recording this, and maybe some of you don't know, but this is recorded, and you go on YouTube and get
It's on
all
our
the
school's
school board.
YouTube station.
Yeah, YouTube, yes. Okay, thank you.
Anyway, I wanted to tell you this story first. The Parks Department, Heritage Foundation, and the Health Department, they're sponsoring bingo every Tuesday for a couple of weeks at the Heritage Building down here at 9:30 on every Tuesday until sometime in April. They're going to stop. Well, anyway, I was sitting there, and there was a grandma and a little boy and playing bingo. I was so impressed with this young man. He's 5 years old. He could do all the bingos, knew all his numbers. And I mentioned that to him, and he looked at me, and he goes to kindergarten here. Okay. And he said, well, I know my fives. So I just thought, y'all like to know that. I was impressed. I mean, yeah, he was like, 60, whatever. He knew it. He saw it. I was impressed with this young man. Anyway, just something to consider. Just please consider this. North Harrison School Board and South Harrison School Board, they all got rid of their agenda only. And I was so happy when North Harrison got rid of their 3 minutes. So I'm just, once again, maybe it's time for the school system to stop that also. Just consider it. Just think about it. That's all I want. So anyway, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Beamer.
Thank you. Okay, well, do we skip 8 and go to 9, Dr. Ryan? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Get
let's
them
do
out.
that. Okay.
Number 16.
6:16, yes.
And you mind if I
Okay,
go ahead?
yes, go ahead. We got Coach
We-
here.
Yep. And Coach Powers,
Right
where you at?
there.
There you are. And I'm gonna let you introduce all the kids that are here. But we wanted to make sure that we brought them, and I realize that it is spring break, and I'm glad so many of them are here. I just wanted to make sure that we recognized our boys' 8th grade basketball team. They won not only the county tourney this year as 8th graders, they won it as 7th graders, they won it as 6th graders, they won it as 5th graders. Coach Powers, what was their final record this year?
Should I go to the podium here?
Yeah, go
Yes,
on up there.
Please. We
But
want to make this
I
public.
wanted to lead him into it because it was outstanding.
So, what was the question again? Sorry.
What was that final record this year?
We were 17-3 this year, and these guys have, like you said, they won it every year. But really, this year was just an incredible year for them. We could have won the Hanover. We played at Hanover last summer, and we could have won that. But I felt like that was a springboard for us, and really propelled us to a great season. And the teams we lost to Bedford. Okay, it's a big school. We lost to Scottsburg, which is a big school, and I don't want to name the other school we lost to. That's a school in our conference. Yeah, whatever. So the kids were just awesome. I have a great group of guys. Okay. And you want me to recognize them now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So here we have, stand up as I call your name, Gage Petty. We have Dylan Price. We have Nolan Pierce. We have Aiden Crosby. We have Aiden Whitehouse and Jacob Day. And so the future is bright for Lanesville basketball. Thank you.
I would say, James, the coach had to do something with this. Those boys
Well,
don't get this way without some good guidance.
Well, they have, I'm fortunate in that we have kids with great families, that hold them to account and that we're, I talked to the guy, we had a get together this last weekend. And one of the things that I loved about these guys is that we really pushed them hard. We had a high standard and we worked hard and we were in the gym every day, and these guys never complained, even though we were tough on them. And so it's a testament to them. It's a testament to their families, and just these guys want to be great. And so it made my job easy.
Appreciate
Thank
all
you.
you did.
And one thing that I want to add to what Coach Powers just said, and I was going to say that exact same thing. As someone who has younger kids, younger boys, and my two youngest will be starting here at Lanesville after spring break. My middle son, Sawyer, is currently in 5th grade. He'll be in 6th grade, and he's been coming to a couple open gyms. And it is as a parent, take out everything else, as a parent, it is delightful that my kid can come in and learn from kids and see good examples of the older kids, because when you're that 5th grade kid and you look up and there are 8th graders there, they're like rock stars.
Mhm.
You know that you're going to see them. And when you have good examples for your kid to look at, like what Coach Power said, I couldn't ask for more, and I couldn't be more proud of these kids,
Right.
more so of all that than anything else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Success breeds success. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, why don't we recognize the chair then? And then if y'all feel you have something else to go, we totally understand. So, you want to,
Coach Aaron, you want to come on
Aaron?
up and you can
Yes.
introduce them. And
Aaron,
while you're
do you
doing it,
mind?
I'll talk a little bit. What I can tell you while she's making her way up there, and not just a school our size, but for any school to have a cheer squad as talented as ours and to put in the time and dedication as this lady here and the girls under her command is amazing. And it's something you don't ever think of, but I know a lot of officials from coaching and being an athletic director and administrator for years and years. Nowhere have I ever been where I had an official after a game stop me, and this has happened 3 times that I can think of off the top of my head since I've been here, where they said, your cheerleaders are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But not only do they go to basketball games here, they go to tennis, they go to cross country, they go to golf. And as someone who I played football and they were there, but I also wrestled and I golfed in high school, nobody cared. They didn't go to those things.
Yeah.
And because of
Aaron.
Coach Aaron and then these girls, everybody saw them. They were at least one event for every sport. And that is phenomenal. And I want to thank you and the time and dedication that you have put in. It truly is astonishing. And I respect you for all that you've done for these girls. Whether they know it or not, you have shown them what hard work is and dedication. And you have built a lot of community pride here. And I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
So to me, cheerleading is always so much more than just cheerleading, especially here at Lanesville. And that was something that I really wanted to bring back to Lanesville when I took over the cheerleading squad. And that's something that I've been trying to talk to the coach oncoming about is cheerleading here is just different. It's not just about the stunting and the jumps and all those types of things. It's also so much more about the community involvement and the school spirit. And we have that here so much more than what any other school does. We might not be able to stunt like Jeffersonville's cheerleaders or tumble like New Albany's cheerleaders, but they cannot touch our school spirit here. And that's really what I take a lot of pride in being the coach. I appreciate that the girls go along with my crazy ideas that I come up with, because a lot of times I don't think they can really see what I'm trying to do with the program. So I appreciate that they went along with me for this crazy journey for the last 2.5 years, longer than that in elementary school. But tonight we have Layla Teeter here, Abby Austin, Amy Coons, Emma Simcoe, and Lily Clifford. Those are 5 of the girls of the 14 that we had. So when I took over the program, we had 7. And then every year after that, we had 14 to 15. So it was really neat to watch the program grow. And like I said, really watch the girls just get out there in the community. And that's always been my thing, is just getting them out of their boxes. And I hope that carries on throughout their life, because I think living in a small town, you get comfortable with your surroundings and the people you're around every day, even here at school around your peers. So I really push them to just get out of their comfort zones. We go and watch swim meets where we have no idea what's happening, but you know what? We're there to support. So I think that's really important. And I hope and I pray that the girls throughout the years have learned things that they will carry on, through their adulthood into the workplace and things like that. I've never had a lot of issues within the squad, but they don't all get along, but they have learned to get along for a common good, just like they'll have to do when they go into the workforce and things like that. So I've really enjoyed my time with them, enjoyed my time with this community. Of course, it's been great with the girls basketball stuff. That's been a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys supporting us and inviting us to come here tonight. Thanks.
Aaron, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Was it a requirement that they had to take a half a bottle of happy pills, smiley pills before each game? Because I've never
It's
seen
not.
a group of girls go out there and cheer. I mean, they were
Yeah.
just
But that's
year to
part
year
of it,
smiling.
whether you want to be there or not, that's part of being a cheerleader. You go out there and you act like you want to be there because you just command the attention when you're
Right.
there, and you have to, whether you have a headache or your boyfriend just broke up with you or you're fighting with the girl down the row, you just got to put that on the back burner and just get out there and do it,
You did a
So,
very good
yeah,
job.
thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, as we said, if you want to be dismissed, we totally understand. If you want to stay, that's fine.
Go,
too.
go. They said.
Tell Stephen I'll
"Should've
call
done
him
that
tonight."
first.
Thank you.
Bless their hearts. Good kids. Hi, Lindsay. How are you?
Okay. As I start to say, can we skip over 8 and just go on
Yeah.
down to 9 there? Is
We'll
that okay with you, Jeff?
Yep. Yep.
Well, I don't know if we'll get everybody to vote on this, but we're asking for the resignation of Mr. Smitley of the elementary. He turned it resignation of elementary principal, Jeff Smitley. We're going to be privileged to have him here to the end of the year, and we appreciate that staying with us. And we can't blame anybody for just exploring new areas and life. As you go through life, we accept that. So I guess at this time, we're looking for a motion to accept Mr. Smitley's resignation.
I'll make a motion, regretfully, but I'll make a motion to accept the resignation.
I'll second it.
So it's made by Tara and seconded by Ryan. Before we vote on it, Jeff, do you have any comments or anything you'd like to say? Didn't mean to put you on the spot,
Said
but
enough tonight?
no, you said a lot. But I mean,
Just thank you. Thank you for the work when I interviewed, when I interviewed 3 years ago for the job, what it had been 3 years ago in April, actually. You know, it was, the big thing was, that this wasn't a stepping stone. There was no place else in education, and that was true. So, you know, I told the team, don't look for my name in other schools. It was, where are you going? I don't know. And looking forward to continuing to be a part of the Lansville community. And I also told you guys I'm a culture guy. And I am extremely proud of these students and these teachers, these families, and this corporation. I'm extremely proud of these teachers and the way that we have come together. I just want to share real quick because they know for Christmas, if you walked in the office at any point after Christmas, you would see these crazy pictures of this Lanesville Elementary teaching staff. I'd never seen anything like it. They all got together. There must have been 50 or 60 pictures. I've got frames that they put together because they enjoy being around each other, and they enjoy being around each other, and they enjoy coming here and doing what they do best because they are incredible. They're incredible educators. And then I was ill one day, and then my daughter was ill, and I come back, and there's 219 little baby ducks hidden around my office. In the office, and I still haven't found them all. I stepped on one the other day. But just showing not only my appreciation for the teachers, but the appreciation that they've shown me. For me to come in and they say, we accept you. It's a big deal.
Sure.
There are actually 220 ducks, but Bethany Miller stole one because there's 200. So when you walk away, I don't know, wait, I'll be honest, guys, there's a sense of failure. I'll be walking away. I don't need anybody else to call me a quitter. Doesn't matter. I am doing what's best for my family and myself right now. Those daggone pictures and those daggone ducks and those faces that come into school every day, that's what makes it hard. So just what I can't express enough is just my appreciation for everybody.
We appreciate you, Jeff. Okay, thank you. Sure.
On behalf of the staff, that we are going to miss you. And you have to come on table. If you ever need us, we're there. You have a very daunting job to do. And I know back when we were closed out with not having people clean rooms and things like, you were in here on weekends with your family cleaning and doing things that needed to be done. And we truly appreciated that. And we appreciate you.
Thanks, Angie. Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. And we got to vote on the floor. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Okay, it was a light carry, but I guess it did carry. Okay. Now, another resignation of a guy that's been in the community for some time, Jerry Guesswine, athletic supervisor.
Yeah, and this is Mr. Guesswine has had a lot of health issues lately,
Mhm.
and health's just not allowing him to do it
Sure.
any longer.
His will's there, but the old body just doesn't want to let it.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
And you know, he's a great man.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept Mr. Guesswine's resignation?
I'll make that motion.
Made by Sharon. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Brian. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Now we've got a replacement, Mr. Adam Belden as the athletic supervisor, and we need to approve to hire Mr. Belden to replace Jerry.
Yeah, and Mr. Belden has been filling in during Mr. Guesswine's health issues, and so
This won't be new to him.
no, and he graciously stepped up, and he'll lot like Mr. Guesswine, he'll do about anything for this place.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you. Do we have a motion to accept Mr. Belden?
I'll make a motion.
Made by Ryan. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Terry. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Approval of the resolution to transfer $146,000 from the education fund to the operational fund, and you might explain how we do this so often.
Yeah, this is the state of Indiana gives you the opportunity to transfer up to 15% of your budget in your education fund to your operation fund to cover some shortfalls and shortcomings. We do it, and you can do it one time. You can do it once a month. You can do it quarterly. Here at Lanesville, we do it quarterly, and it's $146,000. It doesn't represent 15%. We have dropped that down to 12%, and so we're moving a little bit less. But it gave us the flexibility to help in some classrooms with some staffing, and so we graciously and gladly dropped that number down a little bit. But that's where that 146 comes from.
Okay. Okay, we had the explanation. Do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion.
Made by Tara. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Sharon. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Approval of classroom reading material objection form.
Yeah, and I've got some hard copies, and as we work through this and work on and Mr. Howie, and he's been graciously waiting. But as he goes through it, whatever we do with the website, we are going to have this placed on there as well. But we have and I've got some copies here if anybody wants to see it. We have already a form that's identical to it that we use for library. And so what we did is we took the letterhead and we changed it to classroom. And then the only addition from the library is it says, if you notice up there on top, number 2, have you contacted the teacher? And so we did add that for the classroom. But what it does, we know that if a parent, guardian objects to something that's in the classroom, we're going to find, it's going to come to us. What this allows us to do is streamline that process. It allows us to get the information for it, as opposed to a long tirade that may not be productive. And so this will just allow us to streamline that process, but it is identical to what we already use for the library, except for that one addition of asking if you've contacted the teacher yet.
I believe that. I like that, putting the teacher in there, because he or she should know what's anybody's. If they have a concern, you go right to the first person.
Yep.
Right.
And that's where we would direct them. So
Right.
yes, I think that was a good addition.
Yes. Okay. After looking at your form, do we have a motion to accept it?
I'll make a motion. We approve the objection to material form.
And that will go in 24-25. It won't be put
Okay,
into
not
place
this
this week or anything, but it will be the
Does that
start
go in the
next year.
handbook, Dr. Apple?
We will end
Or
up,
is it just,
it will end up going up on the website.
okay.
And that way, as we rework the website, but teachers will be able to find that, and that way then
Okay.
it will come to us
Okay.
to try to streamline that process.
Good enough.
Okay. Sharon made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tara. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Approval of Dustin Crowhorn to be added on the First Harrison Bank account, First Savings Bank account, and the Trust Indiana Bank account. And Dustin, for FYI, Dustin Crowhorn will be is replacing Penny as our corporate treasurer. And I've only met him twice, but what I see, I'm impressed. And I think he'll be a good addition. Penny will be greatly missed, but I I think he'll be a good addition to the staff.
Yeah, he's a sharp individual,
Yes,
and
he
this
is.
is just part of that process. But just for your information, we have told him before it's because he is half Lanesvillian. His father was a Lanesville graduate, so that's where that intelligence comes from. He gets the good looks from his mama, but he gets the smart from his dad.
Trying to do that. Okay, okay. Do we have a motion to approve Mr. Crawhorn?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, Tara made it. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ryan. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried.
And this is that part, Mr. Howie, and I appreciate your patience. If you can come on up here to the podium, but this is the part where I said, in my head, it made sense when I sent it to Becky, and then when I looked at it a second time after it went out, was when I first noticed it's part of the process, but it doesn't read exactly correct.
You skipped over one.
Number 14.
We have
We
14
skipped over.
first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
Okay.
That's all right.
He can still stay there.
Okay,
Just stretch your legs.
I will.
Okay.
Approver of the changing the corporate CD and money market account signatures to reflect to the current board president, town trustee, and superintendent.
Yeah, this is something that we got notified on. That apparently, I don't know if anybody even realized that it has to meet those three requirements, and so we just have to get approval to get it changed.
Yeah,
And we
that-
need to note it in the minutes to do so.
Now, that actually came from the
banks.
the bank,
The
the
bank
local
can
banks.
always
Yeah.
do it, yeah.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion.
Ryan made a
approve it.
motion to change that. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Sharon. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Now, Mr. Howie.
Well, thank you for having me. I won't take very long since I know you already have the proposal and have had time to read it, and we'll have more time to read it. Just wanted you to know a couple things about us and how we work. So when we approach a website or anything, we always start with what is it that has to get accomplished when this is all said and done? How will we know it was a success? So website for the school, which we built the previous website, I think 6 or so years ago. First, it should just be really easy for parents and students to find the thing they're looking for. Often it's the same stuff, right? It's school calendar, teacher's email address, that kind of thing. So we want to make it, put you really one click away from whatever you're there to look for, right? Make it very easy to use. Second thing is for, I think it was mentioned earlier, right? Those potential parents and students who are looking at Lanesville. And, we were one of those. We live in Lanesville, but on the Floyd County side. So we went through that process of having our son come here. And so having a good website that really portrays this school and the community and that sort of family feel of it, I think is really important. And then as you continue to make future plans for the school and the strategy to carry the school into the next era, the website's going to be a good tool, I think, to help you generate community support for that. So when we come at this website, those are the things that we're going to be thinking about, from the way we lay the site out to what the site says to the pictures and video that we put on there, all those kinds of things. One of our goals is to make sure that the site, that when we're finished with that site, it doesn't continue to cost you a lot of money over time. So we work with Paul and any other staff person who needs it to make sure that they know how to make just routine updates. If something just needs to be tweaked or a small change needs to be made, you don't necessarily have to call us and incur a bill just to make those changes. Same thing with hosting. We mentioned that in our proposal. The hosting company that we would suggest is really, really, really cost effective. They're incredibly reliable, and it'll keep that ongoing cost down. So at every point in that, our goal is to make sure that we're building a site that's not going to be expensive to keep running. We're local. Our office used to be down in Georgetown. We went remote during the COVID years, and everybody liked it. So we just stayed that way. So we sold our building to Dr. Ernstberger down the road. But I still live in Lanesville. In fact, we're getting ready, Nick and Lisa Romeo are getting ready to build us a house right over here by your new property, I think, just on top of that hill. So we'll be looking down at you. So we know the community, we know the school, we know the students. I feel like we would do a good job for you. And the last thing I'll say is we come at all of our work, but especially websites, from sort of a blue collar approach, right? We just want to make it functional, make it work well, make it do everything that it's supposed to do. We're not trying to win an award with anything. We've built a lot of websites over the years. We build all of our sites ourselves, always have. We've been around 27 years now. Most of our clients are within an hour of where we are right now. We like that. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on the road if I don't have to, but we have done business with clients from the East Coast to Iowa, I think. Nonprofits, for-profits, you name it. And in every case, our goal is what's the website you need to do what you need done, and that's the website we're going to build. We're in a position where if you want this site up in time for those parents of prospective students to see it to enroll for fall, we're in a position where we could do that. We could come in before the end of the school year, get some video and pictures for the site, start that part of the process, and then get it up and running pretty quick. If you talk to anybody that we build a site for, they'll tell you we're efficient and we set a timeline, we hit the timeline, we do what we're asked to do, and honestly, we go beyond that. So it would be an honor to do it again. We loved doing it the first time. It'd be great fun to do it again. Are there any questions that you have for me about us, about how we do things?
Quick question. I see
Sure.
the 8 weeks from commencement. So we're hoping to have a decision by the end of it, by the April board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so are you pretty confident on that, on your end, on that 8 weeks, 2 months? And
I am.
okay.
Yep.
And then also, as you know, if the board decided to go with you guys in that direction, is it a case where at any point in time is the website down, or is it being, I don't know how these things work. Is it being rebuilt and then kind of plugged in?
So the site that you have now stays live, and we build the new site on a platform that we host and only you can see it. So whoever is going to be in part of that approval process, we send you that link, you look at it, and we tweak it, we refine it. Then when we get it exactly the way you want it, that's the day we flip the switch and move the new site over and take the old site down. And it's a pretty seamless process. Usually we say, let's do it at the end of a day on a Friday. That way you just don't run into trouble, right? You're not in the middle of a week and somebody's trying to find something, and for that 5 minutes, they can't find it. But yeah, our job is to make sure that that whole process is really easy for you and a smooth transition. I think we did a good job of it last time, and everybody was great to work with. So I anticipate that again if you decide to go with us again.
And then, and they may have some questions, but my last one is,
Sure.
As we go through and have some discussion, and if another question pops up, do you mind if I reach out to you or anything?
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
And anybody can. Feel free to share my email address if somebody has a question and you just want to know. Absolutely. I'm around.
So I understand this, your figures on the front page here,
Mhm.
and then there's a monthly charge then on top of that.
So we, in addition to the website, we included in there a couple of proposals for other things. And so I know right now the website's the priority, but we included, for example, a proposal to, on a regular basis, come down and do photography and video and manage social media for the school. So that's what that second thing is that you're talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's if we choose to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's separate and apart from the website.
basic. Okay.
Yeah. If you decide to do that, typically we would do the website first, then revisit that, see if that's something that makes sense. It may not, and that's fine.
But can somebody here feed it or making changes to you, and then you put it on, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we do, like, I'll give you an example. We do the website and social media and all of that for the Sisters of St. Benedict in Ferdinand, Indiana. So I'm up there one day every week and I take pictures, I shoot video, do all that stuff. But if they do something else when I'm not there, there's always one of the sisters that's taking pictures and sending them to me, and then we post them from there.
Okay.
So, and they're a fun bunch.
So that,
I will tell you.
that all goes in with the monthly fee.
Hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's what it's running. Okay, good.
So since you don't have an actual building, all the servers and everything would be stored still here at Lanesville.
Right. So we recommend using GoDaddy to host it. And so GoDaddy has several sites and they're all redundant. And like, if I promise you, if GoDaddy were ever to go down, we would have bigger trouble than your website. It would mean something horrible has happened to the whole country and half the world, because they're who we use, and honestly, most companies use to host their website if they don't host it themselves. We don't like the idea of some companies like to host the site themselves. We don't like that because we think it's a huge liability. If something happens, if the power goes out and the backup power fails, and you think, well, what are the chances of that happening? It can happen. It's not going to happen with GoDaddy. You know, they're just a big industrial platform for hosting websites, and that's really what they do. They're the same company that if you decide to start a business and you want to buy a web address, you go through them. So they're really good. We've never had a minute's worth of trouble with them. They're super responsive when you have a question. So we like them. And the truth is they're going to be doing it less expensively than we could do it if we were going to do it. So it's the solution that makes sense for almost everybody.
Anybody got any other questions? Mr. Howard? We thank you for coming in tonight and helping us. We'll take it under advisement, just so you know, we are looking at some other places.
Sure.
It just, we feel it's just good business to compare.
Absolutely.
And we want to be totally transparent with you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your time. I know you've had a full agenda tonight, so thanks for squeezing me in.
Thank you.
Appreciate your patience. Thank you, Mr. Howie. Tell Jack I said hello.
He's
Okay.
doing great.
He's a good kid.
Okay, we got 15 and 16, 17. Now approval of the following camps for the boys basketball. We could put, we'll do 18 by itself. Junior high team camp at Hanover on 6/19. And the boys up in Indiana Wesleyan from 6/21 to 6/23.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay, made by Ryan. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion's carried. Okay, can we put all the coaches together in
I
one?
think so.
Okay, so we have following coaches for 24-25 school
Well,
year.
2 of them are paid coaches and 2 of them are volunteers. I think you should separate that.
Do we need to
volunteers.
separate them?
Well, and they are not all for 24-25. Roger Reynolds golf, that is for this upcoming spring. Same way with Dane Carter. Boys golf season is getting ready to start. And then Ethan Schickel, tennis coach. I don't know. Do you know if that is Dr. Velker? Volunteer tennis coach. Is that for the boys next year? Is that for the girls this spring? Okay. And then I think Jack Coffer's the same.
Okay,
Girls for the spring.
okay. Can we put them together or do we need to separate them?
I think you can put them together.
That's what
Yeah,
I
put them
think so.
together.
Okay, do you have a motion to accept them as they're printed?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Tara made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Ryan made a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion's carried. Don't want to put you on the spot, but do you have any information on this weather program that you were looking into?
Yeah, we have gone and we talked about it when it was approved. We have been utilizing BAM Weather Service, Mr. Payne and myself, and it is truly amazing. Spring sports are now just finally getting outside. but it gives us up-to-date information, a lot more accurate than what your traditional will. We haven't used it yet, but we've got the ability, and it's on there. We went through an onboarding with them to talk with. It doesn't matter if it's 2:30 in the morning, to talk with a live meteorologist who homes right in on us. We've got set on parameters of lightning, and it has gone off, and we know that it works. And so Mr. Payne set those parameters at 10 miles and 30 miles, and it lets us know if there's a lightning strike, the first one, and it lets you know how long it's been once you hit 30 minutes after the last one, and you can pull it up and look at all that. So it really has been a wonderful thing so far for us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody? You got Terry, Brian?
I'll make a
Sharon?
motion to adjourn.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor, just get up.
Thank you.
Those are all yours. Bob.
I do have
Yeah,
some
the
things.
claims, yeah, these are all Bob's,
Yeah,
just
I
the
already signed
initial. Did you already do them all?
Yes.
Okay, then they can all go back to mine.
And then your microphones, because they are still on.